the Kristin Omdahl Show. This is episode 1115, also known as 1115, but who's counting? And we're here live in Southwest Florida in my studio. If you are joining me live, please say hello. Let me know what you've been up to. Have you had a busy weekend doing any crafting, doing any self-care, doing something exciting or unique? Let us know. I've been working all weekend. Big surprise there. And I'll tell you all about it after I wait for people to pop over from pre-chat and notifications. Just going to read the chat on my computer since it's a little bit closer and I can scroll further back. Let's see. Hi, Thea, Judy, Samantha, Edna, Angela, Donna, Thea, Edna, Sharon, Val. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Hope you're having a great day so far. I have some fun stuff to share with you and so much stuff coming down the line, but we're just going to be a big old tease about all the rest of that stuff. But in the meantime, I can talk to you about the stuff that is coming and is available right now. Hi, Donna and Renee. That's weird. Now I'm not getting caught up. Hi, Cynthia. Uh-oh, we have a crying baby. Come here, baby. Come here, baby Bjorn. You want to come say hi? Well, come on. Can you hear him crying? Come on, sweetheart. Well, come on up. Come on. If you are new to my channel, I live here with my kitty cat, baby Bjorn, and he likes to show up on camera. Come on, sweetheart. There he is. There's the big boy. Here's baby Bjorn. Mwah. How you doing, sweetheart? You doing good? Yeah? Do you want to go sit on your pink banky? I have a blanket set up here on the table so he can look out the window. And he usually sits here with me all day while I work. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, I go live several days a week to do the podcast. I also release tutorial videos. No, we're not going to scratch the furniture. Go sit on your banky. And do tutorial videos every week for knitting and crochet. You can find hundreds of knitting patterns and crochet patterns on my website. You can also find my books and my courses there as well. And if you prefer to shop on Amazon or Ravelry or Etsy, you can find most of my stuff there too. If any of this appeals to you, consider subscribing to my channel. Then you can be first to know when I've released new things. And there's always something new and exciting going on here. Let's see, who else is here? For some reason, my chat isn't working now on my phone, of course, or on my computer. Let's see if I can refresh this page. Always something, right? Hi, Chris. Hi, Donna. Good morning. Okay, let's see. What is the problem now? View on YouTube. Oh, it wants me to read the, hi Melanie, it wants me to read the ads first before it'll let me see the chat. And it may not show me that either. Hi Sharon, hi Joe, hi Melanie. Baby Bjorn, people are saying hi to you too, sweetheart. Hi Karen. All right, computer's not gonna load. I'll have to keep reading the comments here. So, the first thing I wanted to tell you about is talk about some hats that I'm going to show you this morning. So I have released the third, this weekend I released the third online knitting course, Introduction to Knitting Part 3, on my website this weekend. And it is all about doing super easy color work in a hat. And so let's just recap what we learned in the first two classes. In the first class, I taught you how to knit simple knit and purl back and forth in rows and showed you several stitch patterns and taught you how to do several stitch patterns combining knit and purl to do stockinette and garter stitch and ribbing and seed stitch. And then we made a beautiful hat on number 6 bulky weight yarn that was done in garter stitch but with a special finishing touch, slip stitching at the beginning of each row to give it a gorgeous finish. Then in the second knitting class was all about knitting in the round, going from rows to rounds and converting those same stitch patterns into working in the round, which offers some variation. Not all stitch patterns easily convert from working in rows to rounds. There's 4.5 hours of video instruction in that second class, and I show you how to knit all of those stitch patterns in rows and rounds and then make a sampler cowl. Very pretty, and I think I have it here with me. So if you haven't taken that class, you can also take that class as well. And this is the cowl. Is this the cowl? No, this isn't the cowl. And this is the cowl we made in that class, in that second class. Now, and each have you kind of see how we build upon our skills from each of those classes. I've designed the classes and the whole umbrella of introduction to knitting courses to build upon skills, so that as you take the next class, you build upon the skills that you learned in the previous class. So from class 1 we learned knit and purl, from class 2 we learned how to knit in the round, and then in class 3 we're going to take knitting in the round to then make a hat. So you're going to learn a bunch of stuff in this class. And if you don't like doing the color work, you can just do the whole stitch pattern without it, because you'll learn how to do the decreases for the crown, how to start and knit, how to do the ribbing, then the color work, and then the crown. You're going to learn how to work, how to knit in the round on circular needles, and how to switch from circulars to double point needles to do the crown shaping on all the hats. And the hats look fancy, I know that, but I promise you that this is the easiest of the knit color work techniques. It's called slip stitch mosaic color work, and what that means is that you never carry more than one color of yarn at a time. Isn't that amazing? So you do 2 rounds in color A, then you do 2 rounds in color B, but you never have to float yarn, you never have to carry more than 1 yarn at a time. And how you get this amazing color work design is by combining knit stitches with slip stitches to get the color from previous rows to come up to a higher level and give you the patterning. So these are the hats, and this one. I'm going to mess up my hair for sure trying all of them on, but I want you to see all of them on too, and see all of them off. Okay, and so the course comes with a 38-page handout that not only teaches you, not only includes all 3 patterns, but remember how I said there are differences between working in rows and working in rounds? Well, I am sharing with you and teaching you how to do all 3 stitch patterns flat in rows to do a gauge swatch, but also to be able to make things flat in rows. Aren't they gorgeous? So in the class, you'll learn how to knit all 3 stitch patterns in rows to do a gauge swatch, but then also sharing with you the multiples so that you could make scarves or baby blankets or afghans or rectangular wraps in these. And then in the following chapter, you'll learn step by step how to make all 3 hats, knit in the round. And can I just show you how beautiful these crowns are? Look at how beautiful these crowns are. I designed the crowns to be pretty too. Gorgeous, right? And like I said, I've been able to teach this in such a way that this can be a beginner type class. If you've taken courses 1 and 2, we're building upon the techniques and the skills you learned in class 1 and 2 to now apply those to doing fancy color work hats as a beginner. I am so excited about this, and I can't wait to show you what's coming in the future classes too. I've got so many great ideas to build upon your skills to actually become better knitters, and I know a lot of you are looking for that, and I've had so much fun working on the process and working on the intention behind the classes to make sure that it's logical, it's intuitive. You learn this, so now you can do this. You learn this, so now you can do this. You learn this, so now you can do this. And now you can knit all 3 of these gorgeous hats by taking this class. The class is only $19.99, and like I said, for $19.99 you get 4.5 hours of videos plus a 38-page handout and 3 patterns. So I think it's really a great deal, and if you like these hats at all, my goodness, you're gonna have so much fun. Now let's talk about, and you can make all sorts of other projects with this class as well, because you can learn how to make them flat in rows and in the round as well. So there's a lot here. Now let's talk about colors. I used number 4 worsted weight yarn for all of the hats. I happen to use Lion Brand Wool Ease, and notice that I used high contrast colors. There are different ways that, let's see, I can't really read from there. It's okay. What was I saying? I got distracted because I couldn't read a comment, which is so silly. If you can't read them, I mean, don't look at them. Easier said than done. Let's see if I can try to upload this again. Maybe? Okay, okay, so let's talk about colors. You're gonna pick 2 colors. We'll talk about where you could add other colors too. You could actually do this in more than 2 colors, but let's start there. To do these in 2 colors, notice I used high contrast colors. I used rose heather and denim in this one. I used gray heather and raindrops in this one, and I used Stillwater and Riverside maybe? Anyway, so I used high contrast colors. Think about gifts. What if you wanted to, and I think these are unisex hats too. I don't think they're necessarily feminine, which means that's great for gift giving for anyone. And so when you're thinking about colors, why not think of a sport team? Let's say, I don't know, let's say you like a football team, the Miami Dolphins or the Detroit Lions or whatever, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pick the team colors, and then you can make an amazing gift for one of your favorite sport teams. You can also go on Amazon and find the patch logo of any given team. So if you want to drive the point home even further that it's a team-inspired hat, you could put a logo on there as well, but you could also just do it more subtly with the team colors. What if it's for a high school colors? What if it's for a team mascot? What if it's for someone's favorite colors or some other theme that involves 2 colors? You could also do low contrast. You could do more analogous colors. What if we did a light purple with a dark purple? What if we did a light blue with the denim? What if we did turquoise, the darker teal? Well, this one's more analogous colors. I suppose that's true. They're still high contrast though. So you could actually get more subtle in there. So what if you used self-striping yarn? What I would do for that, like say on this hat, I would do where it's purple, I would do that in a solid color, but what if these polka dots were in a self-striping yarn so the color just faded all the way up? Wouldn't that be spectacular? So my suggestion for that is you may not always find the same yarn, same exact specific yarn, like for example Wool Ease in a solid color and in a self-striping or ombre yarn, but you could find a number 4 worsted weight in a similar fiber and a similar texture and then be able to do that as well. Now you could also do these as a stash buster also. What if you chose, like you would have to do the main color here all in one color. So let's assume that we're going to keep that purple or keep all of those rounds in one color. But what if you decided to do these polka dots in one color, these polka dots in one color, these polka dots in one color, these and these? You could do it in a theme, like maybe rainbow, or you could alternate, you know, red, blue, whatever. You could just decide to alternate those polka dot sections in different colors, or do one color theme all the way through, or just do one solid color for it. So can you see how you can even have a lot more variation in this just by picking different colors of yarn as well? And if you need help figuring out what colors go together, there's so much inspiration out there. Again, look at sport teams, look at TV show logos. Yellowstone season 5, I think it started last night or it's starting soon. I can't wait for it, by the way. But what about the show logo? You know, what if you did like a yellow and a brown for the Yellowstone Ranch? There's inspiration everywhere. If you're having trouble figuring out colors, Mother Nature is a great reference, a great resource. Mother Nature always combines leaves with flowers, right? So any flower color with any leaf color would go well together. There's also classic combinations. Black and white would be stunning in this type of color work because it would be such high contrast. So you could go anywhere from the highest of contrast with black and white to the lowest of contrast with two shades of the same color. Whether you did 2 shades of turquoise here. You could do 2 shades of pink in something. There's just so many possibilities. Does anybody have any questions about that? Hi Sabrina, hi Karen, hi Yarn Barf. I am missing some people. I am not able to read this as quickly as I wanted to. Oh, or maybe there's side chat going on. I don't know. It's hard to keep up. Hi LaShara. Is there a class book? There is a class handout. It's a 38-page handout that includes so much information, including 3 patterns. You'll get all 3 of these patterns. But wait, there's more. You'll get all 3 of these patterns to make the hats, but you'll also get the instructions to make them flat in rows, to do gauge swatching, and also to make projects that are flat in rows. One of the things that I thought was super important here is because this particular technique is more dense than regular knitting. So even though it appears like stockinette here, it actually isn't stockinette. It's slip stitch mosaic colorwork. And as you slip stitches, you make a tighter fabric and a more dense fabric. So even if you know your stockinette gauge with worsted weight yarn, it will be slightly more dense with this fabric because of the technique. And one other thing I wanted to mention, I probably wanted to say one more thing, more than one thing, but anyway, we'll start with one more. Hi Linda, good morning. The wrong side of the fabric is not exactly cute, okay? It's not that it's not cute, it's not identical. Let's go that way. It's not identical. So in a hat, in a cowl, no big deal. Oh, that's another thing. Once you know how to make these, you could make them into cowls as well. You could easily make a matching cowl. Instead of doing the decreases for the crown, you would just go back and do the ribbing on both sides. So you could not only make these hats, but you could turn them into cowls as well. But here's the stitch pattern on the right side of the row, and here it is on the wrong side of the row, okay? It's not that it's ugly, it's just not the same. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm kind of picky about what I like flat fabrics to look like on the wrong side. So like if I was making a scarf, I probably wouldn't do this to expose that, but here's a suggestion that I think you might love. What about lining it with fabric? You could get some fleece fabric at the fabric store or some other basic fabric, and you could sew it to the wrong side of the fabric, so then it becomes good looking on both sides and gets a little warmer too. Imagine making baby blankets and lining them with fleece on the other side or cotton. Imagine making a full-size afghan or even a rectangular wrap or scarf. You could do any of these like that and line them, and then they would be really functional on both sides and just absolutely beautiful. Hi Sabrina. Right? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Or if you wanted to take it a step further, you could make 2 and sew them together so it would look identical on both sides. Or you could just work in the round and then make it flat so that it's a tubular scarf, and you could just steam it so it lies flat as well. Or let's say we made this as a tube without the ribbing first. What you could do is work through both thicknesses at each end of the scarf to seam it together while you're doing ribbing for the edging. Then you would have a completely reversible scarf, and if you steam it and block it so that it's flat and then seam the ends and put 1 layer of ribbing on there, then it would be a lying flat scarf and it would be reversible still. So that would be cool. What about picking 2 stitch patterns, making 2 scarves or 2 blankets, and then sewing them together, and then it would be reversible but with different stitch patterns? That would be cool too. Like, all it takes is just getting started thinking of variations, and we could go on for hours and hours about variations, right? Here, let me try on another hat for you. See, I tried that one on and this one. I'll try this one on now so you can see. There's lots of photos on my website on the class. Yeah, or you could do solid color on the other side. Absolutely. Just keep in mind that your gauge will be different, so you'll just need to adjust for the gauge. But oh, so, so pretty. Yes, Bjorn is always here with me. Okay, someone must be asking something. Yeah, I've done tote bags in the round with these colors, with this technique before too. So cute. But again, I don't want to mislead anybody. What's included in the class is 3 patterns to make the hats, and then 3 stitch patterns to work the stitch patterns in rows in addition to working them in rounds. So I'm telling you ideas for cowls and scarves and baby blankets and tote bags as a side thing. Those are not included in this. But for $19.99, you get 4.5 hours of video instruction, how to knit all 3 stitch patterns in rows, and then get all of the patterns for all 3 of the hats. Honestly, the 3 hat patterns would be valued at $12 to begin with, so for $19.99 to get all of that is really a great deal anyway. And like I said, I have designed my courses very intentionally to build upon your skills. So if you've already taken class part 1 and part 2, this will definitely be a great segue into from building to build upon the skills that you've learned already. Let's see. I think Bjorn does like the sound of my voice. That is true. That is true. I talk to him all the time. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks. I love talking to baby Bjorn. Hi, Bonnie. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? I've been yarn shopping online, and I have a couple of packages on the way. I think I have technically 4 packages on the way, but 2 will be here this week, and I will be doing some unboxing videos for you and talking about what I'm inspired to make and remake in these yarns. And oh my gosh, they're so gorgeous. I literally refresh my tracking several times a day. I'm very excited to show you guys some new yarns that I've been finding, and new to me, not necessarily new yarns. And I think that it's going to be really exciting to share with these companies what I can do for them. You know that old Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, when he says, if you build it, they will come? I decided I'm going to test out these companies' yarns because they're new to me, and make up some amazing things with them, and then reach out to the yarn companies and say, see, this is what I can do for you. And we'll go from there. So if anybody wants to cross their fingers, cross their toes for me, I think it's going to be a really creative and powerful way to reach out to companies to collaborate and work with me going forward. Okay, what else? Ooh, I have more to show you. Do you want to see my update on the cocoon shrugs? Doing a knit and crochet cocoon shrug in similar stitch patterns, because I know a lot of people like it when I release patterns that have a similar vibe to them. So I'm doing 1 each in worsted weight yarn. The crochet one, I haven't had any more. So this is the beginning of the crochet shrug. Gorgeous, right? How pretty is that going to be for a shrug? And I'll do some sort of a more solid stitch pattern for the collar and the cuffs, but so pretty. That one doesn't have a whole lot of update. Oh, you know, I got to finish my row before I can show you the knit one. So why don't I just knit while I, oh, baby Bjorn wants to help. Do you want to see how, am I going to be able to show you how baby Bjorn helps me knit? Oh, he's literally, I don't know how to get the camera over there. His paw is literally, here, let's see if we can do this. Oh. Watch this. See where his paw is right there? The yarn is under his tootsies, and he literally, oh, you want to get it? You get it. You be the yarn tension. Here, he puts his paw on it, and he, of course, he's not going to do it for me now because he said he does it. So what he does is he ends up being the tension guide for my yarn. Does anybody else have kitties that gently touch yarn like that? I think it's so wild that he does it. It's so stinking cute. Of course, he won't do it on camera though, right? Thank you, G. Thank you, Sabrina and Chris. I appreciate your kind words and support. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to collab with other companies now in order to stay relevant and in order to make money. Hi, baby. You gonna help Mama? Yes. All right, as soon as I finish this row, I can show you the update. I've gotten a lot, I did a lot of progress on the knit one. After I started both the crochet and knit one, obviously I knew I'd be faster with the crochet one, since crochet is such a faster technique than knitting. It is. It doesn't make it bad or good. It's just different. So I decided to work on the knit one first since it was going to take longer, and then once I got this one done, the crochet one would feel short. Kind of like, you know how sometimes you feel tempted to do a top-down increasing shawl, and so your first rows are short and then the end it's really long, whereas if you do a bottom-up decrease construction shawl, those first few rows are super long, but then as you get going the rows just speed up. Well, I kind of use that analogy in making two projects at the same time. I decided the project that was going to take longer to make made more sense to finish first, so that once I finished it, I'd feel like things were going quicker. What weight yarn am I using for the shrugs? Great question. I am using worsted weight yarn. I happen to be using Bravo worsted from Knit Picks. It's called it's 100% premium acrylic, and I have to say it is really soft. It really is. By the way, the hats are all done in Lion Brand Wool Ease, which is also number 4 worsted weight. Thank you for sharing the links, Judy. Okay, almost finished with the row, baby Bjorn. We can show everybody how pretty this is. You ready to show them? I am too. Do you see him watching the yarn at least? He's watching very intently. He loves to watch the yarn pull out of the ball when it pulls so slowly when you're knitting, but and crocheting. So here is the shrug for the second one. As you can see, the length, this one's much longer already. Not blocked yet, so I'll have to stretch it out for you to see that it has a similar diamond eyelet design. It's not identical, right? But as far as knitting and crochet looking similar, I do think that it's definitely similar. Let's see, I'll pull that one up again. Can you see? It's not blocked, so this will actually be a lot more. I'm careful, I don't want to make my stitches fall off the needles. Does that help? No, it's not helping. Here, if we put the crochet one behind it, maybe the contrast will let you see the holes better. Can you see a little bit? A little bit maybe? Yeah, I think you can see a little bit better. Anyway, it'll be opened up quite a bit more because it is going to block, and I think they're both going to just be so pretty. And the patterns are sized. Now, a cocoon shrug is not sized specifically like a garment. You know how a garment will say this is one size, then this is the next size. I combine 2 sizes in the cocoon shrugs, and I've done this in shrugs over the years too, because you could actually, there's so much wiggle room because they're unstructured garments. They don't fit specifically, and I think most of us like them a little oversized anyway. So there's going to be an extra small, a medium large, which is what I'm making for me, a 1X, 2X, and then a 3X, 4X. So there'll be 4 size ranges with yardage and dimensions and all that stuff. And then the instructions will be included for all 4 of those as well. We're starting with a rectangle, then we will sew it together, add sleeve cuffs, and add a collar to both of them. So definitely making headway on that. Probably release the stitch patterns as tutorial videos ahead of the actual patterns so that you can get your gauge swatch as well, because gauge will be important. So I'll probably release part 1 in advance of part 2, just so everybody can get a flavor for how to make the stitch pattern, do a gauge swatch, and maybe even order yarn before the pattern comes out. Ooh, also, who would like me to bring out to relaunch mystery make-alongs? Would anybody be interested in that? And if so, I won't do sized garments, but I was thinking about exploring sampler projects. Sabrina, you can find my glasses on Amazon. They're come in a 3-pack for around $20. They come in a bunch of different colors. These are not quite tortoise shell, they call it a dried flower. There is a tortoise shell also. There's also a black, there's also a clear acrylic, and then the hot pink acrylic is probably my favorite, but I like all of them. And I think I wear the dried flower and the tortoise shell the most, but I like all of them. And for $19.99, you get 3 pairs. I just love them. What was I talking about? Okay, so I really want to teach you about how to pick stitch patterns for sampler projects where you combine stitch patterns, and I think we'll use Crochet Power as the example, and maybe do some other stuff. But in general, would you like some mystery make-alongs? And I'm thinking that for mystery make-alongs, we should focus on a technique possibly, and smaller projects. So whether it's cowls, tote bags, scarf, things like that, maybe a rectangular wrap. But how does that sound? Is anybody interested in that? And I think by adding sampler stitches to mystery make-alongs, it just adds more excitement to it. And you know, so each week there'll be a different stitch pattern, and as we go, you'll see how the project turns out. Kind of like we did the Zen scarves a few years ago. Remember those Zen scarves that were 5 stitch patterns and 5 colors of yarn? Maybe not that big. We'll do something smaller than that, so it's really the amount of time that you can tackle in 1 week. I'll try to keep it where you don't have too much homework to do each week, but I was thinking about bringing out doing mystery make-alongs again. So I've got so much yarn coming. As soon as the yarn gets here, I'll start getting inspired by what I want to do with it, and then go from there. I already have my blog posts written for when I do the unboxing videos. I cannot wait to unbox this yarn with you. So many types of projects we're going to be able to do with these, like mind blown, so exciting. And there'll be yarns that are easily accessible for everybody because I bought them online, so anybody else can buy them online too. And then we'll just wow those companies and they'll go, oh my gosh, I need Kristin to design everything for me. No, not everything, a lot of things. I think when I can apply what I did for my yarn company to other yarn companies, I think they're going to be pretty excited and dazzled by the type of work that I do. That's what I'm hoping. Hi, Julie. Hi, Carrie. And I think there's enough information to share, maybe in a blog post, maybe in a course, to really teach you how to figure out how to apply, how to add, and not only how to combine stitch patterns for samplers, but then why. What are the aesthetic things you're looking for to make a contrast or not make a contrast? What are the multiple changes? How do you adjust for multiple changes? There's a lot of information there. Really is a lot of information to talk about there. What else? Oh, when you download the Introduction to Knitting Part 3 course, you will get a little sneak peek in the last page of the handout where I talk about what the future courses are that are coming next. So I have planned out in my head course 4, course 5, and course 6. I guess I could tell you, but I just as soon not tell you and make you have to read page 38 or page 37 to check it out. How's that for a tease? I know, so silly. Anyway, we went over on time. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is going to be Shawls for Sharing Make-Along. I do have to do the show a little bit late tomorrow. I normally do the show at 10 a.m., but I have an appointment at 9, and I'm not sure I'll be back in time to go live at 10. So I have scheduled tomorrow's show for 11 a.m. If you'd like to join me, we'll be working on our Alicia knit shawl pattern. It is a make-along for this quarter's Shawl for Sharing charity make-along. And also, I'm going to be showing you some ways to change it up and do some exciting new things, and I think you're going to really like what I'm showing tomorrow, but it won't be at 10 a.m. it'll be at 11 a.m. instead. So thank you for your patience and understanding that I have an appointment that I couldn't avoid. All right, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed talking about all the exciting things going on, including my brand new course, Introduction to Knitting Part 3, a trio of easy knit colorwork hats, and everything else we talked about today. And also, I hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else. If you like my show, you like my channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like today's content, give it a thumbs up. If you decide you have questions later today, or you watch the recorded version, always feel welcome to leave your questions and comments in the comments. I get notified about them throughout the day, and I always reply to everybody. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.